Hey, what's going on, Vikings fans? Skol side back again with another Minnesota Vikings video. Again, thank you so much for the support on the channel. We're almost at, I think, 870 subs, 130 away from 1K, giveaway at 1K. Once you hit 1K, the channel's really going to open up. Anyways, talking Vikings today, I'm going to give you guys 5 players who I think should be cut from the Minnesota Vikings and should never wear a Vikings jersey again. Some of them for good reasons, some of them for bad. Some players I just think have really overstayed their due here in Minnesota. These are 5 players, if I was Rick Spielman, I would look to move on from this offseason. Anyways, that's what we're talking about. If you're new here, please subscribe to the video, like, comment down below, or try to respond to all the comments. Anyways, keep blowing up the channel. I appreciate it. Let's talk about 5 players who I think should be cut from the Minnesota Vikings this offseason. Now, some of these players I'm going to be listing, I just kind of have my top 5. Some of them are just based off performance, and some of them are just based off contract and performance, and other players stepping up. That's kind of where I'm going off this. It's not just off contracts, not just based off anything. It's kind of a combination of all of them. Starting off at number 1. Number 1 player I think needs to be gone is Dakota Dozier. Listen, Dozier had his moments this year. However, he should not be a starting left guard in this league. I don't think he's a starting guard anywhere else. He's consistently getting penalties, consistently getting beat in pass protection, consistently just getting beat by his man, and that's just obviously not what you want from your guard position, considering you have an immobile quarterback in Kirk Cousins, even though he's shown flashes to use his legs a little more. However, a statuesque quarterback, when they get pressure in their face, it's very concerning. It's very concerning when you have a guard who really just doesn't understand basic twist and stunt concepts by the D-line and pass protection. He's pretty good in the run. I'm not going to take that away from him. He's about average in the run. When you're average in the run and terrible in pass, you're not a good guard in the NFL. I think the Vikings should move on from Dozier. It's almost like a culture thing. It's almost like, hey, we're not going to accept that performance out of guard anymore. And considering the fact that you have Kirk Cousins and Bradbury's kind of had a shaky year, you really need to step up your interior line play. I would just cut them, send a message saying that is not what's going to be acceptable in years to come. Dakota Dozier should be cut from the Minnesota Vikings this year. All right, and my second and third players on this list kind of go hand in hand, and it's Shamar Stephen and Jaleel Johnson. I mean, I don't know what they have on Zimmer. If they have like a picture of him like I don't know, doing something stupid. I don't know if they blackmailed Zimmer into still being on the team. I mean, Jaleel Johnson and Shamar Stephen might be the 2 worst interior defensive linemen in the league, and they consistently get playing time. You know, I always thought, like, you know, going up into this year, I always kind of thought, like, you know, maybe they're good young pieces that you could keep around and have them develop under, like, Linval, under Danielle Hunter, under Everson Griffin, and Michael Pierce gets brought in to develop under him. But for some reason, these guys just consistently play and underperform. I mean, this year's a perfect example of it. You know, a lot of times in life, you get handed chances and opportunities when you least expect it. And the Vikings D-line, they got riddled with injuries, opt-outs, everything. And you have Shamar Stephen, Jaleel Johnson, guys who have been in the organization a while, been on the team for a while, know what they want to do, have a chance to step up and make big-time plays and just be there. And instead, it's the complete opposite, where I'm looking at the Vikings defensive line on film, and I'm literally considering this the worst defensive line in the league. You know, it's not even that they were mediocre, they're backups in the NFL, I get that, but when you have a chance and you're a backup and you don't step up and you underperform what people already thought about you as a backup, terrible sighting. I just think it's a lot of similar to the Dakota Dozier thing. Just, you got to understand, in the trenches, we're not going to accept that. I mean, the trenches win and lose ball games, as we've seen this year. I mean, your quarterback can outplay the other team's quarterback, but if your lines are getting dominated, it really does not matter. I really think Shamar Stephen, Jaleel Johnson, I just think it needs to be, you just need to move on from them. I don't think they deserve to be on the team. Shamar, Jaleel, I'm sorry. Great stay, but I would cut you if I was Rick Spielman this offseason. All right, coming in at number 4 is Anthony Harris, safety next to Harrison Smith. Anthony Harris, undrafted guy. He works his ass off. I like Anthony Harris as a dude. I know a ton of Vikings fans are not too happy with him and his performance this year, honestly, and I don't really blame them. Anthony Harris is kind of, even though he came on Twitter and got mad at Vikings Ben Lieber for calling out his effort, I mean, listen, you can go out on Twitter and call out somebody or say like, hey, you don't know what you're talking about, don't question my effort. But if like what we see on film and what we see on tape is a lack of effort, he has a right to call it out. I mean, if he's busting his ass and Anthony Harris is making communications, talking here and there, all this, obviously I can understand somebody calling out your effort if it looks like you're giving effort and you're just not playing well. But when you're not playing well and it looks like you just don't really care, I mean, a lot of times in the Saints game, I mean, yeah, you can give effort on big plays, big third downs, but sometimes it'll give you a first or second down. It just looks like Anthony Harris doesn't even want to tackle. I mean, yeah, I know you're a safety. You're not supposed to be tackling the running back in a perfect world. But you got to understand the Vikings front seven was terrible. You had a chance. You could step up in the run game, make big-time tackles, and he just did not do that, and that's effort. And, I mean, that's strictly effort. So he can say all he wants. Listen, I think he's a great dude, great story. He just doesn't have it anymore. Last year, he had the 7 interceptions. Listen, interceptions in the NFL are an opportunistic thing. The quarterback needs to throw you the ball, and you need to be in the right position. A lot of the times, if you're a safety and you don't consistently put up interceptions, you have 1 year where you blow up and then you come back down. It's normally due to opportunistic chances. Harrison Smith, on the other hand, he has around 3 to 4, 5, 6 picks every single year. That's just because he's a baller. Anthony Harris, on the other hand, had a year last year where he had 7 and then 8 in the playoffs. He hasn't had 1 this year. He hasn't had a turnover this year. He's consistently not shown up for the Vikings week to week. Anthony Harris should be cut. And my last guy is Kyle Rudolph. This really hurts me to say. I love Rudy. This is strictly just based off contract and guys behind him. His performance has been fine this year. I'm not going to say a bad word. But best case for the team, you have a guy like Tyler Conklin and Irv Smith, 2 up-and-coming tight ends who are really good in the pass and running game. Rudy's making a lot of money. I would come to him and say, hey, we can restructure you. We have these 2 tight ends we really like. You understand. You've been here for a while. We can restructure you. You can still be a part of the team, part of the organization. Be there. But I would move off Rudy and move on to these new, younger, exciting tight ends in the pass and running game. Nothing wrong with Rudy right there. He was just my 5th guy. Just do the money. Strictly do the contract. He's another guy I will cut. Anyways, guys, that's a video. 5 players who I think should be cut from the Vikings this offseason. If you liked the video, leave a like. New here, please subscribe. It really helps a lot. Comment down below. See you guys next time. Skol Vikes.